This is your June 2025 mortgage and market update. My name is Evan Kaufman, your loan originator here to help explain. So the month of June, as we're just starting this, is kicking off to be a very exciting month. We look back in May, we saw some major shifts in the market that now I think we're going to see continue into June. The three big things we're going to touch on is the tariff cool down. We're going to see how post-spring application and inventory counts look. And then we're going to roll into some discussion that's been big over the last few weeks, GSE privatization. Now, looking back at the tariff cool downs. Since the election, since Trump's went into office, we had a whole lot of tariff back and forth. And over the last couple of months, it's just been back and forth. They're on, they're off, they're on, they're off. We saw a lot of that volatility through May, and now into June, we're seeing it not necessarily cool a little bit, but people get acquainted with and being, I should say, almost more accustomed to the tariff switch being flipped on and off so many times. So we're seeing a little less volatility than we did the past couple of months. So here into June, we expect that volatility from tariffs to cool down a little bit. Even if tariffs are on, tariffs are off, people are just getting used to all of a sudden that whiplash effect of them being on or them being off and what the impacts are. Now, long term, that could have some really big consequences down the road, positive or negative, we're still not quite sure, but I'm expecting through the month of June, as we still see the uncertainty in those tariffs shifting on and off, there could be some volatility swings. However, probably not as extreme as we saw in April and in May. Now let's look at the post-spring application and inventory cool down. I like to say when we get into the middle of summer, we hit kind of like a midsummer lull. You see this also in the stock market, where typically in the hotter months, everybody's like shipping out, and all those stockbrokers for the market are maybe going to their Hampton houses or wherever else it might be, or they're going to places to relax a little bit more. Summer, things just kind of cool down. Kids are out for summer, folks go on more vacations. Well, we see the same thing in housing to a degree as well. So you'll often see a very heavy heated spring, and for us, we really heat up even before that because working for a lot of military families, they're moving even sooner for everything. But we often will see things ramp up in January, February, mortgage applications, people getting ready to look, and then all of a sudden March, April, May, heavy hitting months, and then in June we'll still generally see as a high month, but it starts to cool a little bit, that midsummer lull. June, July, it's warmer again, folks are starting to get out, maybe vacation a little bit more. The home search becomes a little bit calmer, except of course for those folks who need to get their kids in a new school district or are moving around the country for some reason like the military, but we generally see it cool a bit. And we're seeing that purchase application pulled back a little bit more. It was actually going up, and then it kind of stalled here the last week or two. And then we're looking forward for housing inventory. It's now at its highest point this year so far. So depending on the data you're looking at, we broke over 800,000 active listings, which is historically still low, but significantly higher than what we saw for listings over the past 6, 12, 18 months. So we're seeing that inventory expansion, which means that maybe some buyers have cooled down a little bit. Folks are still trying to list, but it's just, again, it's getting to be that midsummer lull. And now, the big discussion too, though, GSE privatization. Over the coming weeks, we're going to see if there's any new major updates, but just recently, President Trump and as well Pulte, who runs the FHFA, started announcing that, hey, we are really looking to push to privatize the GSEs. What are GSEs? Government-sponsored entities. That's Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. They're like your big, what we call pseudo, because it's government-sponsored entities, pseudo-government organizations that pretty much buy up most loans. So conventional loans, FHA loans, VA loans are all running through your Fannie and Freddie. And there's Ginnie Mae that also helps guarantee. They deal with the guaranteeing of all those VA loans, for example. Those entities, government-sponsored entities, have a board of directors and everything that's technically actually the government appoints, because back in 2008-9, there were private companies that went under and the government bailed them out, took ownership within the companies, so hence our government-sponsored entities. But now there's been a big push to slowly start to look to fully privatize them, meaning take them out of what's called conservatorship and make them their own entities again. What does this mean? More uncertainty. So what could it mean for rates? I've heard fantastic arguments from both ends of the spectrum. I've heard good arguments for how it could lower rates because now there'll be more competition because they're right now it's held artificially. They're the ones buying everything up. New people and entrants, it could lower prices. That's a general thought process behind competition, right? Increase competition, have more people able to buy loans. It's somehow going to drive the prices down. Maybe. Also heard other good arguments on the flip side that, hey, it's subsidized to a degree. The inherent backing of the United States on government-sponsored entities makes it so that our mortgage rates are lower than anywhere else in the world because of that inherent backing, the inherent result that, hey, if for some reason Fannie or Freddie goes insolvent, the government's going to back it because they're literally government-sponsored entities. arguments are good on both ends. Where would that really lead? We're not sure, but we do know for the first time in a long time, there's some, I don't know if it's necessarily serious discussions because it's kind of like the tariffs. We don't know if they're fully real or not real. If GSE talks the same way, it could be a lot of whiplash, but with the FHA administrator for Pulte pushing it too, not just at the presidential level, but Pulte pushing it, maybe we actually might see some traction and movement in privatization of the GSEs, and that could just cause some more uncertainty. So here in June, we might see some more information on that, but that still would take months, and then to actually privatize could be a very long time. And a lot of senators have come out and just warned even, hey, doing big quick shifts could be a problem. I'd say like you got a lot of Democratic senators who are effectively saying we better not make this move too quickly because some people fear that the current administration might just be like, we're just going to do it quick, privatization, kick it out the door, go fast and see what breaks. And everyone's like, whoa, wait a second. We're talking literally one of the largest entities, and I should say operations in the world, and that is the buying and selling of mortgages in the United States. We might want to take this one a little more slowly. So there's a lot of debate back and forth. My guess and hypothesis is that it will take a little bit of time. Might be faster than some people assume, but it will still take definitely some time to even sort through this. And maybe it's like tariffs. It just might not happen at all. So we'll have to see, but know that's big news that has come out over the last few weeks. And now in the coming weeks, we expect to see some more movement there on just what to expect. So we looked at the tariff cool down, or I should say the not just like cool down all of a sudden, but almost normalization, people getting used to the tariff issues. Spring applications for purchases have pretty much flatlined now all of a sudden, and the inventory has creeped up, showing that midsummer lull. We'll see where that takes us. And then talking about the GSE privatization. That's one unique thing that we could see down the road. My name's Evan Kaufman, again, your home loan educator. Take care.